This is my audience. Okay. Most people get their inspiration from their parents or their teachers, but I got my inspiration from one of my nurses. Like I mentioned before in my introductory speech, I was diagnosed with leukemia when I was 6 years old, and so from that time I was surrounded by nurses, and they kind of became my friends because they were with me all the time. And I had many nurses, but one nurse specifically was Nurse Janet, and she just really is embedded in my memory because she treated me like one of her own. She was always there. She loved me and cared for me greatly, and I will just never forget her. And Nurse Janet gave me the dream of becoming a nurse when I was 6 years old, and for that I owe her everything, because without her I may have not had that dream. And ever since I was 6 years old, from that day on, I have known that I wanted to become a nurse. So background on my Nurse Janet. She was a nurse at Texas Children's Hospital in Houston, Texas, where I stayed during my treatment. She worked with patients who had blood cancers like mine, like leukemia. She was just very loving, and she did her job really well. So she inspired me in many different ways. She was always there for me, and when I was laying in the hospital bed bored, she would come in and play games with me or read books to me. And whenever I was really bored laying in the bed, she would come and get me and sneak me into her office, and so I could go in her office and file papers for her, and she would kind of keep me busy. And we had like so much fun. And also, I was on chemotherapy, and so whenever I was on my treatment, I did not feel well at all. I was sick all the time. I just felt like absolutely horrible, and I would just want to lay in my bed, and I'd want no one to bother me. But right when Nurse Janet would walk in the room, she could always put a smile on my face no matter what, and she was the only person that could do that because she'd be cracking jokes or doing something funny, and she just always made me laugh no matter what, no matter how bad I was feeling. And she was just so caring all the time. You could just tell that she loved me so much. And I remember one Christmas, I had to stay in the hospital because I was just so sick. My family went home, and we had a family friend staying with us. And I remember my Nurse Janet was there, and she was just doing everything she could to keep me comfortable and make sure that I was okay. And she would help get me in the Christmas spirit, and she got me presents, and she was just such a sweet lady. And so we went through all that, and I just became very close with her over the whole 2.5-year period I was on treatment. And like I said, she became one of my best friends. And so she just inspired me so much, and she gave me the dream of becoming a nurse. I remember I'd lay in bed and look at her, and she was such a role model to me, and I would look up to her and think that she had the coolest job ever. And I just knew that one day I wanted to be just like her. And 13 years later, I've stuck with that dream, and I'm not giving up on it. Right now, I'm at Texas A&M, working really hard in school, trying to get into nursing school so I can have a future in nursing and live out my dream, being a nurse like Miss Janet, and working with kids just like she did. I'm just forever grateful of her because she gave me my dream of becoming a nurse, and because of her, I am going to pursue nursing, and I owe everything to her because she gave me my dream when I was 6 years old. Um, so Miss Nurse Janet, she just had a huge impact on my life, and I'll never forget it. She um, just helped me out so much, and I know that when I become a nurse, I'm going to, strive to be a nurse just like her and love my patients and do everything I can to just get them better and just make them feel loved.